So I want to get you in. What? What? I'm rocking. Who says we ain't in the building? Who says we ain't into building? We the Moorish master masons, architects for your children, reppin' Friday 13th like Jason without a killing. But we promote life, oh, it's all about the feeling. And we invoke light, yo, we them light beings. Though you might see him on the block getting his portion, might be talking to cops, giving them caution. Occasionally wearing his fez when he's walking. See the turning heads, whispering, gawking. But he's locked in, and he's zoned out while we boxed in our own house.
We study the mystics, the adepts, the magi. Wisdom of the ancients can uncalcify eyes. Possible mission, free mental numbness. Extract the substance with minds of dumbness. Use the source, don't care what some purport. As we know by being told man knows not. Many before the floor, souls got bought. Placed in the devil's hands, ruling the seven lands. To dogma rituals, negro spirituals. Brainwash subliminal, keeps thinking to a minimal. They still criminal, in a world digital so pitiful. Mental survival so critical, it's visible. Can you see past righteous blocks? Hashtag zombies with waves of cyber thoughts. No need for cell phones, they speak through soft palms. It's nothing for alarm, chips and forearms.
Wind, brass and bass, such a beautiful serenade. Women feeding me grapes, I'm feeding the in these serenades. Whether the sky is clear or gray, rain when you hear it fade, giving life to seeds, speaking through who not here today. Show you the future in a glimpse. Can always look to these hoes like hallucinatory pimps. Sun walked the desert, been more ever since I found God. Look back, used to see his prince. Forget being a prince, I'm a G. OD, grown man, no Jody. Deny it, you don't know me. Don't make me tap into the old me. That's like a couple hundred years. Walk around town with a couple hundred peers and release the peace of up fears. The sun gon' shine, so what tears? This young brother here just trying to get his third eye clear.
Ish, deep, Moors don't sleep. Invest in your mind and body and unleash. Real life rap, spitting over tracks. Conscious thinking and living and then attack. Ish, deep, Moors don't sleep. Invest in your mind and body and unleash. Real life rap, spitting over tracks. Conscious thinking and living and then attack.
So as the moon sets, the sun takes its place at spoons on blocks, inspired spots, filled spaces. Peel back, rats, who got cases. Fire stain the corridors with flemo faces. Game changers, rule benders and no pretenders. Style enders, channel my vibe through the vibrant optic lenses. Send a message to our veterans, soldiers up and get it in. We on the verge, we emerge subliminal beings. Third eye seeing, still I participate unwilling.
They wanna break me, shape, bait, grade me. Running with my main G, double O-M-P, S-O-N. Crazy for me that you think you could take me for a fool like a native to his land, being schooled by a foreign dude. You've mistaken me, spiders on the roof, in the dark tools. I've been saying you've mistaken me. You better move or I'll mark it. My weapon is my tongue, your existence to target. Revealing all lies and deceit on the market. Genocide carried out in pockets, I knock it down, bulldozer. David to Goliath, it's an exposure. Some big cats ruling and it's getting closer to your downfall. Round up all your soldiers.
Little homie, I was seeking a fortune, tired of misfortune. I just wanted a portion, everything that I never had, though I needed my portion. Blowing like porcelain, haters fragile as porcelain. Getting broke, tired of being broke. How we acquire hope is the DJ skillets of dope, just to keep us afloat. Mind as deep as a boat, brain is a lethal weapon. We one need to elope. When I speak, I provoke. Walk in the room with my aura feeling like heavy smoke. Feel like when the levee broke under my Louis fitted the semi-poke. Cause dirty cops are killing, boy, yeah, the joke. The cost of living, higher profits in private prison. These little girls are selling bodies just to pay tuition. These little niggas selling niggas just to build condition. It's like the slavery never ended with the intermission. I wanna free the world, but I'm one man. A couple ones like me and make one plan. I wanna free the world, but I'm one man. A couple ones like me and one plan.
Moors. Round 2. Playing games. Playing. So this is Aboriginal guy. Aboriginal Indian guy. Using our video now to try to talk some BS.
Noble Juali, Really Ill, Small Bay, Lovett Bay, and Foreman Bay. The Moorish Holy Temple of Science, deriving its power and authority from the great Quran of Muhammad, Moorish Holy Temple of Science, do solemnly swear that at a meeting of the members, Noble Juali, Really Ill, Small Bay, Lovett Bay, and Foreman Bay, the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, deriving its power and authority from the great Quran of Muhammad, Moorish Holy Temple of Science, deriving its power and authority from the great Quran of Muhammad, Moorish Holy Temple of Science, deriving its power and authority from the great Quran of Muhammad, Moorish Holy Temple of Science, deriving its power and authority from the great Quran of Muhammad.
So what we're about to do is get into the founder of the Quran, and his name is Muhammad. Muhammad is not a Moor, and the Moors say they derive their powers from the Quran. So this is a look into Muhammad and the Quran. We're right here. Muhammad, founder in the 17th century of a faith which today has 230 million believers, went the way of all flesh in the year 632, but his religion continued on through the Quran. We're right here now. It is a Muslim Bible which owes most of what is pure and noble in it to the Old and New Testaments. And these appear in strange contrast to some of Muhammad's other teachings, including his picture of heaven as a place offering attractions consisting of wine and women. Among all religious books, the Quran is one of the strangest because originally it was not written at all. Let me repeat that again. The Quran is one of the strangest because originally it was not written at all. Muhammad could not read nor write, but after each of the visions, he recited a new chapter of what was later to be the Quran. We're going to repeat that again. We're right here, if you see my cursor. Muhammad could neither read nor write, but after each of his visions, these are his so-called visions, he recited a new chapter of what was later to be the Quran. He did not claim authorship. He said he simply repeated, let's scroll up. He simply repeated what had come to him from heaven. Again, he simply repeated what had come to him from heaven. From heaven. He repeated what came to him from heaven. So, the Moors' powers derives from the Holy Quran, which a man did not write, and he simply said that all the messages came to him, to one man, from heaven. To this day, it is the height of empathy. I can barely see this word. See, y'all might be able to see it better than me. I can't even see it.
You just can't read, nigga. Shut the hell up.
As the prophet said in the Quran, the Muslim says, as God the Exalted said in the Quran. So let's fact check. Let's go over some things. For one, Muhammad was not a Moor. For two, the Moors say that they get their powers or any authority from the Quran. Three, Muhammad did not know how to read or write. So anything that's just like me sitting in front of you guys and I might not know how to read and write, and I say, man, God told me if you pick your nose 3 times that you will have all the beautiful women, or for the women, you will have all the, your hair would be so long it would be towards your back, and so this is going off what man has to say. And ain't no telling if this man was.
No. Honors to all prophets. Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, Yahushua, Heru, Quetzalcoatl. All. Honors to all prophets. Noble Drew Ali told the Moors, study their Quran. He wasn't pointing to some Mohammedan Islamic book when he said Quran. If you read what Noble Drew Ali left for the Moors, you would see, right? This is the part they're telling you. The Moorish holy temple of science, deriving its power and authority from the great Quran of Muhammad to propagate the faith and extend the learning and truth of the great prophet of Ali. Ali didn't bring us some Mohammedan Quran. Not the great prophet of Muhammad. Not he got the authority of the great Quran of Muhammad to propagate in faith and extend the learning and truth of the great prophet of Muhammad. This is the great prophet of Ali. Why the great prophet of Ali? Why not the great prophet of Muhammad? If that's supposed to be the guy, why is it not him? And again, it all goes back to trying to downplay what this Moor really did. And they would tell you anything. How come they didn't tell you that Quran for Moors is an acronym? How come they never told you that that's not a book? Quran's not a book. Quran's not a book. When you see Moors say Quran, Holy Quran, Circle 7 Quran, Quran of the whatever, we're not talking about a book. It's an acronym. Because nobody was arguing with the nation of gods and earths on the arm, leg, arm, head, and that's Allah, and nobody debated them about you can't say that or whatever. So how are you coming at Moors when we say Quran's an acronym? Just like Allah's an acronym. You're not going to debate that, but you're going to debate us saying that, no, you mean the Mohammedan. No, we don't mean Mohammedan. We're not Muslim. Why would we mean Mohammedan? Why would we mean Sunni and Shiite and all that stuff? Why would we mean that? Because we say we're Moors. Why are you automatically going there? Now, what's in your brain that it takes? The reference point that you have is some pale Arabs when you think about Moors. Somebody has some sorcery going on you, or you're incompetent. Right, this is the acronym for Moors. Right, K.O.R.A.N. Knowledge. What does knowledge mean? Is this how deep Noble Drew Ali was going, that the people didn't even really get it? Acquaintance with fact. Acquaintance with fact. You and fact are boys. When you pass the blunt, fact is over there taking the blunt. That's how close you're supposed to be with knowledge. It's supposed to be your acquaintance. Hence, scope of information. Intellectual knowledge is independent of feeling. So take all those emotions or whatever, throw them in the garbage. Because we don't care about your feelings. If you want to be black because... No, not over here. I'm not playing none of that black BS around me. You can play that stuff if you want to, but you're not putting me in none of that BS. Because I have knowledge. We study to know what's up. So we're not lost like the rest of these sheep out here, asphyxiating their self. Nobody around you, you have a mask on that you can't breathe in. And then you have the shirt that says, I can't breathe. And then when you're not breathing, then you're going to be complaining and marching up and down the place when you hexed yourself. You hexed yourself. The guy just came out, European, just came out, said, hey, we have the air tester right here, and we're going to test the air under the mask. Under the mask, stuff start beeping and all that. Oh no, that's machine. We're not going to go with that. All right. You wear your mask then. Enjoy your headaches. Enjoy your headaches. Knowledge. We're not mere believers. Pray 5 times and hope to see 72 virgins. We're not believers. Order. Remember, this is K.O.R.A.N, not some book from Muhammad. K.O.R.A.N, the acronym. The divine idea of order is the idea of adjustment. And as this is established in man's thought, his mind and affairs will be at one with the universal harmony. You don't want that? You don't want the O of Quran? You're going to tell me you don't want the O of Quran. You're really trying to tell me that you wouldn't take knowledge or order in your life right now? Right now, if we say, hey, anybody in the chat, would you take order or knowledge in your life right now if you didn't have it? If knowledge and order presented itself to you, hi, I'm knowledge and order, and I'm here to be part of your life, are you going to deny them? Well, people are going to tell you, nah, don't deal with that Quran stuff because that's, the Moors don't know what they're talking about. Expose the Moors that they said Quran. And these people never told you that Quran was an acronym that stands for knowledge, order. R is rhythm. The universal law of rhythm. When you want to be in rhythm, don't we laugh at people on the dance floor that don't have rhythm? They're not the cool people, aren't they? Right? Carlton's dance was funny, but it was on beat. He wasn't off rhythm. The Carlton dance isn't off rhythm. He's not dancing like a European. He's actually on beat. He wasn't really as off as he thought that he was. He was the whole brains of the operation. Intelligence rules. Knowledge, once again. Order. It was Dr. Phil, and he was a judge. I'm sure there was 5 people in the house and all that stuff. Rhythm. Everything vibrates and moves to certain rhythms. These rhythms establish seasons, cycles, stages of development, and patterns. Each cycle reflects the regularity of God's universe. Everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing is the right. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates, the Kabbalion. The law of rhythm states that energy in the universe is like a pendulum. Whenever something swings to the right, it must then swing to the left. Everything in existence is involved in a dance, swaying, flowing, swinging back and forth. Everything is either growing or dying. This law can even be seen in the cycles of economies. There is a high period and a low period. Our season can see that the seasons are in a continuous flow of summer to winter. Everything goes through cycles, yet everything has a rhythm or a pattern. Everything has a rhythm or a pattern. Remember, we're talking more science right now. We're not talking some religious Islamic run around the square thing and all that. We're not talking about any of that. We're talking about more science. We're talking about what it takes to save a nation. That we were supposed to take and save ourselves, but we're too busy looking for Jesus and Yahweh and all these people and Miss Noble Juali. And now we're mad. Don't be mad. Get on game. Moore's been telling you what's up. K.O.R.A.N, K-O-R, rhythm. And then you could just do your research on universal laws, which one of them is rhythm. And then that's the R in K.O.R.A.N for the Moors. Not for the black guys, not for the hieroglyphic writers of the whatever, not for any of the school of thought that you know by name. Only for Moors. K-O-R in K.O.R.A.N. Knowledge, order, rhythm. A. Some people's favorite one. Some people's favorite one. And these might be the smartest people. The ones who gravitate to A. Astrology. Now you're going to hear more science temple people try to tell you that this is devil worship and all this, and Islamic people are going to tell you that this is devil worship, and Christian going to be like, oh my gosh, this is devil worship. You don't want to do astrology and tarot cards and crystal balls, and you don't want to do any of that. That's witchcraft and that's circus stuff, and that's not real. But when that day comes when they came out their mom, they want everybody to gather on the cake and sing stuff to them, which is based in astrology. So shut the hell up with the BS when every year you want us to sing you stuff. And it's not Satanism then. So don't let it be Satanism ever again to you. Astrology is your science that was handed down to you from your ancestors, who we know weren't even from this planet, which is why you give honor to astrology, because it's really your ancestors, not some planets out. Right? And again, even if all these are flat, it's all still the same stuff, right? See how it's flat? You can't see the side if it's, it's circular, but it's flat. Just on the screen. The screen's flat, so it's flat. Okay, so flat planets in the universe, flat sun, flat asteroids and all that stuff. Astrology still plays a part. You can't escape it. It is what it is. So we're going to go to the online university, rvbaypublications.com. This is the astrology page, Astrologics. Remember, we're talking about K.O.R.A.N right now. People making stupid videos, replaying us stuff and doing the talking like this to try to prove the point and all this BS. Fact of the matter is, these people don't know what the hell they're talking about, because K.O.R.A.N is an acronym. Knowledge, order, rhythm. Now we're going to talk about astrologics or astrology, the A of K.O.R.A.N. Since people think that Moors are Muslims and all this stuff, and we have to go to the mosque. We have to go to no mosque to do what? When we were Negro, black, colored, you mosque people didn't have anything to say to us. As soon as we found out who our prophet is, now you got stuff, now you got books and pages and stuff like that. You're going to try to tell me about something? You didn't tell me anything when I was a dumb nigger. You tell me nothing. You just sold me the beef patties and all that stuff. You didn't tell me jack. He just sold me the brownies and sold me the whatever. Didn't tell me anything. As soon as I got my fez now, turban, and I know who I am and I know who my prophet is now, now you want to try to convince me about some Muhammad and Noble Drew Ali took something from some pale Arab or whatever. They told you that they don't even know what Muhammad looks like. They don't got no pictures of him or anything. Can't even draw him. What do you mean a Muhammad? I'm not even going into those conversations. Because then people get in their feelings, which when you go back, we tell you. Right? We tell you to be at one with universal harmony. Acquaintance with fact. Intellectual knowledge is independent of feelings. So F your feelings about how I feel about Muhammad. I have my own prophet, and you're not going to tell me that I'm going to honor your prophet before my prophet. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? We give honors to your prophet, but he's not getting more honors than Noble Drew Ali. You're tripping. Because something's wrong. If he never taught you, if he taught you not to tell us anything about our birthright when you knew, because the Moors ruled where you guys are at. What do you mean? You don't know what's up. We already know you people know what's up. We're not some pale Arabs. We're Moors. Descendants of Moroccans born in America. You know this. Maghrib al-Aqsa. Morocco, the farthest west. Egypt of the west. You already know what's up. Don't be mad that we know now. Just accept it. We're not the mere Muslims. Don't put us in those categories. It doesn't, you're lying. Welcome to Astrologics. As you study and gain more functional knowledge about your astrological chart, if you don't know what that is, look that up because you're way behind. You may discover that you were characteristically such and such in a past life. It is important to know that you are still that in this life. You should be aware of the characteristics and makeup of your being, even now. It is the wiser among us who exercise their intelligence to know their strengths and their weaknesses. It may sometimes appear that within the constructs of this modern day society, which is mired down in false concepts and deviant constructs, that you can't be who you really are. The truth is, you can only be who you really are. Finding out that divinely imprinted information is what will definitively change your position in society. Man, know yourself. Man, be yourself. Right, there's a peep. You can go on there and you can get your own research on. We're just here to give you the breakdown of K.O.R.A.N. And so you're going to go here and then you're going to see everything that you need to get started in your astrology, or getting back to your astrologics. Right. And lastly is the N, K.O.R.A.N. Knowledge, order, rhythm, astrology, and nature. What is nature? The intellect's name for God. Men fall short when they seek to find God by studying nature. Instead of molding and animating the cells of their bodies, they project thought outward in speculating about the universe and its law. Nature is the servant of the mind. And when lawful thoughts are enthroned in consciousness, nature restores the natural harmony existing between spirit, soul, and body. When man asserts his divine supremacy, he dominates nature. Who doesn't want that? You don't want that? You really don't want that? And so listen, watch out for these people out here trying to play you out of your birthright. K.O.R.A.N to Moors is not what these people are trying to make you think K.O.R.A.N is to Moors. These people who are talking, they're tripping. I don't know what they're talking about. They better watch these pale Arabs don't come put some fatwas on them for talking crazy.
On drugs, ain't no telling if this man was an occultist, ain't no telling what the situation was. But here it is. Now you know that the Quran was made up by a man who claimed that, you know, he got his messages from heaven to give to the people. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Indian Mac, and I will be talking about the teachings of Marcus Garvey, and I will be, how can I put this? I will be holding up his teachings that he has passed on, because there are a lot of Moors who are unable to keep up the teachings and the likeness of Marcus Garvey. On the other hand, although I'm not Moorish, or...
How are you talking about Noble Drew Ali and saying Marcus Garvey's name? And how is he saying he's Indian but he's not Moorish when there's a dynasty in India called the Mauryan dynasty? Not only that, Indi is where Indian comes from. Indi is ink. Ink came from the Moors. Because they were the custodians of the ancient Kemetic knowledge. Who those guys had ink. Because the indigo is where they get the ink from. And Indian is really Hindustan, which means it's not India. India is a British company. So if they're saying Indian, what are they telling you? If they're telling you, yeah, be Indian, what are they telling you? They're telling you be part of the British company. Just go look it up. India is a British company. India is not a country in Asia. India is a British corporation. I know that because when I talk to people who are from India, they get mad and say, we're Hindustani. Don't call me Indian. We're not Indian. India is a British corporation. Stole all our stuff. We're Hindustani. Blow their mind that they know, that we know, that they're Hindustani. Okay, so then if you're Hindustani, not Indian, who are these people over here that they call Indian? You're the Indian, but you're not Indian. How do they know that? They live across the Atlantic Ocean. To the point where the Indian man, who's really Hindustani, who owned a store, gave me the stuff I was getting for free. Because he got the concept that we're the actual indigenous people. The world has us thinking that we're black, just like they have Hindustanis thinking like they're Indian. And immediately he got it. So that means you're the actual indigenous people? Yeah. And the place where they call the hood or the ghetto or whatever, where you are right now, serving stuff, this is really the reserve, not the place out there that they tell you the Indians are where they got the reserve. That's not the reserve. That's a whole separate thing. We're not even going there. The real Indians, according to the people who they would say are the Indian from across the Atlantic Ocean in India, they know that we are the indigenous people over here, that we're not African or black or any of that. And remember, Indian is Vatican from Los Sindios. LOSSINDIOS. Los Sindios, those without God. That's a classification, not an identity.
Moor or a Moorish American. I am an Indian, and by me knowing the teachings of Marcus Garvey, I feel like I should share them with you so that you guys can keep up the teachings of Marcus Garvey. I mean, sorry, not Marcus Garvey, but of Noble Drew Ali, since the actual Moors themselves are not doing so. So let's continue on. This is a Moorish refrain. Mine eyes have seen the coming of Noble Drew Ali. Okay, so we're going to start here. We'll try to scroll or zoom in. Let me zoom in a little bit more for you. Okay. We're right here. Universal Negro Improvement Association, founded by Marcus Garvey, another important figure in history of the black nationalism, whose influence as an advocate of black liberation extended beyond the United States to the Caribbean and Africa. The two movements were unrelated to each other, but Mr. Drew compared Mr. Garvey, much to the later annoyance, to John the Baptist, who prepared the way for the coming of Jesus Christ. Right here, we're right here. John the Baptist, who prepared the way for the coming of Jesus Christ. All right. In these modern days, there came a forerunner who was divinely prepared by the great God Allah, and his name is Marcus Garvey. Wrote Mr. Drew in his slim 92-page work that he entitled the Holy K.O.R.A.N.
Now we told you what Quran was. Knowledge, order, rhythm, astrology, and nature. In the Holy Quran, you get the lesson of Noble Drew Ali calling Marcus Garvey the forerunner. Why? Because every other individual who was Muslim in America was teaching him. All the Hebrew crew, Josiah Ford, Wilmot, Blythe, and all them people, all those people were on more science, Islam, Kabbalah, and were unified. Marcus Garvey was being brought into the order. Remember, Marcus Garvey's teacher is Deuce Muhammad Ali. Deuce Muhammad Ali is a Moor. It doesn't matter whether he knew Noble Drew Ali or not. We know that Garvey knew Moors. We know Moors were around Marcus Garvey 100% of the time. 100% of the time. Why do you think he wrote his letter from jail to the Garveyites, telling them the only way the Negro's gonna be happy is when he is restored to his true nationality. So it doesn't have to be Noble Drew Ali told him something. Even though we know Noble Drew Ali went to the prison to go visit him and all that. Wrote the postcard to Pearl that, hey, I went to see Mr. Garvey and all that. Even though all that is there. Newspaper articles about it. Not just some postcard. Because the Prophet Noble Drew Ali was the man in the 1920s. Everybody was covering him. That was like Michael Jordan walking around in the 1920s. You think it's not going to be nuts? We're talking without cameras and all that stuff. People parting the street for this man. Because everybody knew what was up. The Moors had returned. And as soon as he's assassinated, all this stuff come up. You're Indian, you're black, you're African, you're indigenous, you're aboriginal, you're autochthonous, you're the native aborigine of the whatever. You're all these fictions when you were Moors. You're still Moors today. You're just unconscious Moors. You're just unconscious Moors. Because Marcus Garvey was surrounded by Moors. So it doesn't matter if Noble Drew Ali met him or didn't meet him or whatever. It doesn't matter. They could have never met. Garvey was still around Moors and being taught by Moors. That's like people always bring up, yeah, Bobby Hebbett, and yeah, he's oh man, he's so good about. You know who his teacher is? No, C. Free Benell. Huh? Yeah, but Bobby Hebbett is a. Hey, you know who his teacher is? C. Free Benell. Yeah, but then I was watching this lecture by Bobby Hebbett, and he was going so deep. Hey, you know who his teacher is? C. Freeman L. So no wonder Marcus Garvey could be the forerunner of the Moorish movement, because he was prepared by Moors. Moors made Marcus Garvey. Moors groomed him to the point where they had to trump up some $3 mail fraud on him because he was calling himself Garvey. He didn't proclaim who he was. You're just around Moors, but you're a Negro? And then everybody knows that your family's Maroons and all that stuff? How you still saying Garvey when you got Deuce Muhammad Ali around you, Noble Drew Ali around you, Elijah Poole Bey around you? How you still be Garvey? How? Right? And that's that, you know, that Jamaican slave pride stuff. You know, we're their way or no way because they fought for the whatever and all this. And then realize when they trump you up on some $3 stuff, that because you didn't declare who you are, just like with El Hajj, told him, yeah, I got El Hajj on the passport, but you know, because of our people being niggers or whatever, you know, you can call me Malcolm X. Look, gave him jurisdiction to walk right up in the stuff, blast you at the podium. Because he gave him jurisdiction by calling yourself their name. That's how we know they did it. That's the only people who could have did it. Those are the only people who had jurisdiction over him. Ain't nobody else had jurisdiction to be up in there. No FBI going into no damn meeting that he's doing, talking about going to the UN and all that stuff. What are you talking about? You think they're trying to be on the list when he says, when they get the lawsuit? When they go International Criminal Court for the organization of for the Organization for Afro Unity. You think they want to be involved in that? Yeah, right. They're not going up in there. They'll line up outside around the building and all that stuff. They're not going inside. They already knew where he was going. Only because he said, Malcolm X, it's okay, you know. For these same people, these same ungrateful people right here. This man called himself the slave name for you and got murdered just because he called himself the slave name. Because he knew what was up. He had Malik El on the passport. He knew what was up. Oh, that's a declaration. But, you know. Got any questions, throw them in the chat or hit the thing.
Passage. The poetic license goes on to say that Marcus Garvey, a lifelong Christian, did teach and warn the nations of earth to prepare to meet the coming prophet who was to bring the true and divine creed of Islam. And his name is Noble Drew Ali, who was prepared and sent to the earth by Allah to teach the old-time religion and the everlasting gospel to the sons of men. We, as a clean and pure nation descended from the inhabitants of Africa, do not desire to amalgamate or marry into the families of the pale-skinned nations of Europe. Neither serve the gods of their religion, because our forefathers are the true and divine fathers of the first religious creed for the redemptions and salvations of mankind on earth. Once again, we're right here, everyone. This is Noble Drew Ali. We, as a clean and pure nation descended from the inhabitants of Africa, do not desire to amalgamate or marry into the families of the pale-skinned nations of...
No, the Africa. See all that stuff, all that stuff right there? Oh, that's not needed because America's Africa. So stop the BS. They found chunks of Africa under Florida and all that stuff. So stop the BS. Over here is also Africa. That's just what it is. Don't get mad. Don't take it personal. Get out your feelings. We're dealing with knowledge. We're dealing with K.O.R.A.N right now. We're dealing with K.O.R.A.N right now. We're not dealing with some religious stuff, running around stuff, kissing black stones and salading and all this stuff. We're not talking about that. We're not mere Muslims. We deal with knowledge. Africa is also over here. Africa's not just over there. Just like over here is also Asia. Why wouldn't over here also be Asia if people could cross the Bering Straits from Asia and come here? They're so close that you could just walk over an ice bridge and you're here? No, let's make this thing like Africa as if he's talking about across the Atlantic Ocean. You know that somebody's playing you. Because it is a common fact that over here, North America, South America, the adjoining islands, is also Africa. Africa's not just over there. That's why there's Memphis here. That's why there's a river Nile here called the Mississippi. That's why there's Barbary states here. because it was all one jurisdiction. Real simple. It doesn't have to be anything advanced. But when they go through the Quran, remember, it's an acronym. So when they start playing this game like, well, I found this in the Quran and this is the Moorish Science Temple Quran and all, and they start talking crazy, know automatically that they don't know what they're talking about. Because Quran is an acronym. It's not some book of some Islamic Muhammad whatever. That's not what Quran is to Moors. All these things that were being presented by Noble Drew Ali was for us to get out of mental slavery. Everybody sold out. Now you have your own, who they're Indians, when you can go to the Delaware codes and they'll tell you that the Indians was formerly known as Moors. If the Indian tribe was formerly known as Moors, then what does that mean about the Indian tribe? Let me just ask the chat. Chat, if there's some people running around here calling themselves Indians, and then we go check the law that they follow and say that, yeah, that's the law or whatever. And we go check the law, and the law says that, oh yeah, the Indian tribe, they were formerly known as Moors. Why would the Indian tribe say that they're Indians? Why wouldn't they honor their foremothers and forefathers and call themselves what they were formerly known as? Oh, when you don't do that, that's called you're a sellout. I'm throwing chalk at you in the back. Your hand up. You don't get to answer nothing out here. You just got the eraser thrown at you. Putting your hand up. Yeah, Lil Yusuf got triple A's in everything. Putting your hand up. You don't answer nothing around here. What are you putting your hand up about? You got no putting your hand up. You just see the cloud of chalk dust on the back of the room. Chalk dust. Chalk dust.
Of earth, neither serve the gods of their religion, because our forefathers are the true and divine fathers of the first religious creed, for the redemption and salvation of mankind on earth. We're going to scroll down to continue. This is also coming from Noble Drew Ali. Come all, ye Asiatics of America. The volume concludes, and hear the truth about your nationality and birthrights, because you are not Negroes. Learn of your forefathers' ancient and divine creed, that you will learn to love instead of hate. We are trying to uplift fallen humanity. Come link yourselves with the families of nations. We honor all the true and divine prophets. So that was Noble Drew Ali. That was his speech. That's what he was speaking. That's what he was writing to the people, to the public.
So what the hell's wrong with saying you're not Negroes? What's wrong with that? Why do you have a problem with his message about we're not Negroes? Is there anything wrong in that message? You're not Negroes. What's wrong with that message? There's nothing wrong with that message, right? Come all you Asiatics of America and hear the truth about your nationality and birthrights. Oh, why would they want to hear the truth about their nationality and birthrights? Because somebody sold them out, and that's why they didn't know. Why would he tell them that they're not Negro? Remember, this is the time of the Negro Acts and all that stuff. Black codes and all that. Jim Crow and segregation and all this stuff. Remember, all this stuff's going on. And he's telling people, hey, you're not Negroes. All you Asiatics of America, come and learn the truth about your nationality and birthrights. Why? Because you're not Negroes. You think you're Negro, but you're not Negro. Learn of your forefathers' ancient and divine creed. Go look up Creed. Go look up Creed and then think about the 2 movies that came out. Honoring your foremothers and forefathers. That you would learn to love instead of hate. Learning to love instead of hate. Something's wrong with that. Something's really wrong with that. Like, Moors have issues with highwaymen, and we might be dealing with the issues with the highwaymen, right? Off of IG and all this type of stuff, right? We might have issues with, mortgage company, and we'll deal with issues with the mortgage company. But when we check these people here, just like the Moor said in the chat, you don't hear them talking about the Europeans colonizing and the Europeans doing anything. They got time to come at Moors and Noble Drew Ali, but they don't have time to talk to these Europeans. Stealing their land. They're the Indians, it's their land or whatever. Okay, well, Indians steal your land. What are you going to do about it? March up and down and picket like some Negroes? That's what you're going to do? Lay on train tracks like some Negroes? Alright. I hear you. I hear you, Indians. Come and link yourself with the families of nations. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with linking yourself with the families of nations? I haven't found anything negative right now in anything that Noble Drew Ali presented, to be honest. I haven't found anything Islamic, none of that. Said religious creed, mankind on earth, salvation. I don't hear any Islamic anything. Forefathers. Families of nations. We honor all true and divine prophets. What's wrong with that message? Nothing. People are just hating on Noble Drew Ali for no damn reason. But we know the reason. Because they're a sellout. And like the master teacher said, any of these scholars call you black, they're a sellout. What could you name a scholar? Any one of these so-called black leaders call you black, they are the sellout. So is Malcolm X a sellout? Because any. People are trying to disconnect you from your prophet who brought you your nationality, which not having a nationality is a sin. You want to be living in sin? Because you're listening to these people? You're going to live in sin. Have nothing but BS follow you all through your life because you don't want to embrace your nationality, which is your salvation. Because you're listening to these people.
Let me scroll down. To all converts, Noble Drew Ali issued a nationality card, such as today. You have Moors who issue out nationality cards, which confirms the holder as Moorish American. But remember, you guys come out of Africa.
Africa's here. So what's your